and break down this draft here, K-Mac.
Let's do it.
First overall, Jameis Winston. What do you think? I mean, we kind of knew it was going to come, and it happened.
Yeah, it happened, and I'm happy about it. Obviously, we're huge Bucks fans here, and I'm happy about it. He's changing his number. He's coming into the Bucks as number 3, so new number, new jersey. I think the pass is the pass. And man, did you see the video that he sent out on his Instagram?
Something about the crabs, right?
He had his jersey on and a hat on, and he was sitting there eating crab legs like in his living room on the table. It was pretty funny.
Can you believe that, Raspo? This motherfucker's drafted number 1 overall by the Bucks. He celebrates by eating crab legs. We all know about the story where he stole crabs from Publix.
Right.
And I mean, I'd rather he's making a joke, and it's kind of funny. It's bringing a good mood to the team in the Tampa Bay area than have somebody like Johnny Manziel who's acting like a complete ass. And he goes out.
Everybody that's a hater on him because of the crab legs. I just want to ask them one question: when you're 18 years old and some dude at Publix or whatever is, you know him, and he's like, yo, come in, I'll hook you up with some crab legs. You go up to him, he gives you the crab legs, like, yo, you're good, just walk out with it.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't do that? Come on, it's getting hooked up, man. We've all been hooked up by somebody we know that works somewhere.
I'll take some free crab legs.
That's a good point. You would know something's going on, I guess, but I guess you're 18, you're thinking, all right, you know.
Well, he was a little than 18, but I mean, you know, you're a college student. You ain't got much money. You're not living off much money. You're, you know.
Oh, he ain't even thinking he's doing anything wrong.
He's not making any money. I mean, he knows he's about to be a multi-millionaire, but at that point, you're still not making anything. You're not allowed to work if you're on the football team.
If he was given the crab legs, then he technically did do no wrong. The guy who gave him the crab legs did the wrong because he did not pay.
And another
for those
aspect of that, to kind of say who Jameis Winston is, when the cops approached him, I guess he didn't really want to rat the guy out, so he just said, oh, I forgot to pay for him.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, that dude said I could have him for free, like, you know.
That probably complicated the matters. And
it complicated it for him, but I mean, you know, if he's willing to take that rap for some guy at Publix, took him a crab legs. Imagine what he's going to do for his teammates. And we've seen that through his whole college career. We've seen him be there for all his teammates, hyping everybody up. So that's a positive, I think.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Once again, we all knew that Jameis Winston was coming to the Buccaneers. Seemed like the obvious pick considering he can play day one. Some people are saying Marcus Mariota is going to need some time to develop. Yeah. So maybe the Bucs really didn't have a ton of options here. Maybe they wanted to go with Winston and just ride it out. Winston scored a touchdown. He threw a touchdown in every game he played. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, national champion. He's undefeated other than one playoff game. So it's really crazy. We'll see what we get here in Tampa Bay. I'm pretty excited. Number 2, Tennessee Titans, they went with Marcus Mariota. I didn't think they were going to make that pick. I thought they needed so much more, but instead they draft the quarterback who apparently needs time to develop. Kyle, I know you predicted this. What's your take on Mariota? Do you think that he should just roll from game 1, or should they put in Mettenberger or whatever and ride him out?
I don't think that even needs to be answered at this point. I think he should go into training camp, go into OTAs and all that stuff as just a guy competing for the job. I don't think anybody needs to name anything on him yet. Let him go through the preseason. Let him get a couple starts in the preseason and see who's your best quarterback. I mean, I hate when they try to force because this is the first guy they drafted that he needs to start right away. And sometimes, you know, that's going to hurt any quarterback. That could hurt Jameis Winston if he's not ready to be a starter and they force him to be a starter.
Now, Jacksonville Jaguars, they had the number 3 overall pick. There was a guy I loved coming into this draft, Leonard Williams, who he's a defensive end from college. I think he can slide inside and play defensive tackle. We'll see what happens, especially where he lands in the Jets. So he actually fell all the way to number 6. I thought the Jags were going to pick him up. Instead, they pass on him, go with Dante Fowler Jr., so he's probably going to be an outside linebacker, but then again, I heard he's talking to the team, and they want him at defensive end, so that's a little bit interesting.
He's a pass rushing specialist. That's what he is. He's really solid. He's kind of like Doomerville, where that's what they are. They can play outside linebacker, but their main role is to blitz somebody. And I think it's awesome, man. He reps St. Pete. That's where he's from. He's a hometown guy here. Yep. So for him to stay in Florida, that's tight. And hey, man, Jaguars. We were saying this before. They really need to beef up that defense. And this is what, they're making a statement.
I was wrong. I thought that they were going to go with Amari Cooper, who's a freaking uber-talented wide receiver. Mike, he lands in Oakland at number 4. What do you think as, like, from a fantasy perspective? Now, all of a sudden, teamed up with Derek Carr, do you think Amari Cooper is going to be a hot topic going into the season?
Definitely. I think with Derek Carr there, that's a huge weapon for him, and I think that's really one thing he really was missing.
Big time.
It's what he needed. So
James
he has a big
Jones
target.
was their number 1 guy.
Come on, really?
Yeah, they needed that. I just think they could have waited to the second round and still got a good quality receiver. Yeah. To me, you got to go with Williams. The fact that he slipped down to you got to take that guy because he's probably going to be one of the better players in this draft.
Okay, so you're saying it's a bad call then?
I think it is a bad call. This is what the Raiders do, Matt. You said it on the last show. That's what the Raiders do. They always go for the wide receiver, and unfortunately, the wide receiver's not going to win you the game.
How about Brandon Scherf? I'm sure they could have used that guy as well. Yeah. Instead, he falls to Washington. Leonard Williams falls to the Jets. That's interesting because they already had a couple really good defensive linemen. I guess now they bring in a third, and they could have a beast set up there as far as their defensive line is concerned. Now, the Chicago Bears, Matt, you talked about Kevin White. You talked about how you heard that was a possibility. I thought Brandon Scherf, the big offensive tackle, was going to fall to them. That way they get more protection for Jay Cutler. Unfortunately, he didn't fall, so they do get the guy you're talking about. Now, they have Alshon Jeffrey. What they're doing here is they're replacing Brandon Marshall.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, it's a good thing that you replace Brandon Marshall, but we've tried this strategy before. What's the closest that we've come to a championship in the last 20 years? It was built around the defense. What was the last championship we had? It was built on the defense.
Yep.
Like, we should have went for at least offensive lineman, protect Cutler, and, we could have gotten a receiver or something later in the draft, possibly. I don't know.
I mean, the Bears' defense has been terrible, man. That's what they needed to address, and, they went with the guy that's going to try to make plays for him. But, I mean,
it's not going to work, though, if your quarterback's getting sacked.
And that's true, too. I mean, there's some linemen they can still get in the draft, I think, that are going to be good, but you're going for the wide receiver just like the Raiders. It's like you fall into that trap to where your team needs a lot of other. You have a lot of other needs right now that need to be taken care of before your team's going to win. These guys like Amari Cooper, they're just an add-on piece to a team that's ready to go. That's going to put them over the top.
I think it's like an epidemic with big city teams like Chicago, where people want offense and they want to see they want to see someone who's going to play and be a big offensive impact from the start.
Yeah, so Kevin White, Kyle, you talked him up a lot all throughout the college season.
He's good, man.
He landed in Chicago. What do you think?
He's going to be their burner. You're going to have Alshon Jeffrey getting all the possession receptions. Jeffries is going to be a beast for fantasy this year. Just because of Kevin White, now the safeties have to back off. You're going to get Jeffrey over the middle of the field every play. You could probably run that. Mm-hmm. He's going to find a spot, get open. Cutler's going to throw it high to him. He's going to catch it and bring it down. It's that completely opens up the passing game, and then what it also opens up? Their favorite thing to do, throw the ball to Matt Forte. And because, like I said, the safeties and everybody have to drop back to cover the speed. If he gets past the linebackers, man, he's going to have a big gain.
He's going to be a popular guy in fantasy. I think a lot of people are going to go for Kevin White because he's going to have it easy with Alshon Jeffrey, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, on the other side. It's really going to open him up quite a bit. And he's one of those rookies who can make an impact right away because of his size.
And Matt, you nail it on the head, man. If they don't beef up that offensive line, it doesn't matter what what skill positions they have. If Cutler's constantly getting sacked, he's going to suck.
Just so you know, Matty, they did pick a lineman. Unfortunately, it's a defensive lineman with their next pick. The Bears selected Eddie Goldman, a guy we've heard a ton about.
FSU.
Big guy from FSU. One of their better players, one of the guys that was always talked about.
So they redeemed themselves with their second pick. That's legit. Okay, you can build a defense around a guy like that because he's going to hold it down in the middle, and now you can start filling your pieces around that and getting that defense going.
Now, the Atlanta Falcons selected Vic Beasley. I predicted that one right. That's a pick that I really like. I think that's going to be a huge fit for them.
That's what they needed.
A pass rushing specialist so badly, definitely. And they got one. So good job by them.
And the thing is like you're seeing a lot of these linebackers in college that are now going to defensive end because that is what the NFL wants now. They want these guys like J.J. Watt that are athletes. They're just really big that are pass rushing specialists, but they're also athletic enough to where sometimes they can drop back in coverage and knock balls down. So. It's a 3-4 dream, these kind of guys.
You had Eric Flowers, a guy I talked up on our predictions showcase there. He went to the Giants, so I really like that pick. I'm glad he went in the top 10. Number 10 pick overall, St. Louis Rams selected Todd Gurley. A lot of people were wondering where he would go. I'm not sure if he'll be completely healthy at the start of the season. Things sound pretty good at this point. But the strange thing about this pick, Kyle, is the Rams still have Trey Mason, a guy who really stood out for them last season. It's weird how they pick up another big-time running back. It's kind of got to be two guys at the same time.
Mike got got. Mike got got.
No.
Keep getting.
Thank God that wasn't
it's the Chicago-Minnesota game because Chicago's wearing red and then Minnesota's wearing white and green. So
that got me bad.
Chicago.
Terrible, guys.
Yeah.
Terrible.
What the hell?
RJ, you're next.
No, I'm watching this thing like a hound right now. I've been watching it. Plus, they're in between periods right now, so I know there's not going to be any goals scored for a little bit.
But I mean,
Zach Stacy is definitely on the decline here.
He wants to get traded.
I bet he does. But, he's third or fourth on the radar now.
Yeah, Trey Mason, I think it's a good combo now. I think a lot of teams want to have two good running backs, and Gurley's one of the better running backs I've seen come through college in a long time. Yeah, he's got the knee injury. Like I said before, I heard that stat where it's like something like 2% of players that have the knee injury get it a second time. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm worried about how strong he's going to be when he comes back. And as we've seen, a lot of guys, they come back a little stronger.
Now, Minnesota selected number 11 right after the Rams, so we'll keep an eye on Todd Gurley there. Interesting pick for the Rams. But the Vikings picked up Trey Waynes, the best cornerback in the draft. Got to like that.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns selected Danny Shelton, a huge defensive tackle from Washington. The Saints got to steal an Andres Pete, so they got a beast offensive tackle they can throw in there. The Dolphins went with a wide receiver in Devontae Parker. They did need that. I mean, they just got rid of Mike Wallace. I like Jarvis Landry, but he can't be the only guy in town. Now they pair him up with Parker there. Melvin Gordon, running back to the San Diego Chargers. That's an interesting pick, K-Mac.
Yeah, it is. And kind of one thing I want to get into here with the draft today is the fact that, even from yesterday and today, we're now through 3 rounds. La'el Collins has not been drafted yet simply because he's being questioned in a murder of an ex-girlfriend of his to see if he has any information that could be useful, and he's cooperating with him. But the cops have already come out and said they don't view him as a suspect. Apparently she was pregnant, and he might be the baby's daddy. So he's connected that way, but it's like that has now... this guy was supposed to go in the first round. He was going to go late first round.
Possible top 10.
He's not even getting drafted through 3 rounds. I don't get it. I mean, what do you guys have any explanation for why?
Well, there's something still out that's not out yet.
Yeah, the reason is apparently what I've read is he isn't talking to them until Monday, so teams are basically holding off on him because they're scared. They just don't want to draft someone that's going to be a failure.
Wasted draft pick.
But if the cops already said he's not a suspect, then what is there to worry about?
Well, I mean,
you never know.
With murder.
Yeah, it's touchy.
It's tough, man. It just sucks. If this guy is innocent, it's terrible that,
the percentage of these guys, the fact that the percentage of them actually panning out is so slim to none as it is.
Yeah.
Then you add in that on top of it.
And like the day before the draft or the day of the draft, it's terrible.
Yeah. They'd rather take their chances with somebody who they know is not currently dealing with any heat. Getting back to Melvin Gordon, Kyle, he steps in as the starting running back for the San Diego Chargers now. So he'll replace Ryan Matthews all the way, and we saw him be the bell cow for Wisconsin, which is known for offensive linemen and running backs.
Yeah, and I think they had this plan the whole time. I think this worked for them because we are all like, why did they let Ryan Matthews go? And it was kind of weird. I think they were waiting for this. They knew Melvin Gordon was going to fall to them, and this is going to be their guy. And, man, he's going to be a good running back, I feel. To me, he reminds me, a lot of Charles from
Jamal Charles. That's what I was going to ask Mike. I mean, Melvin Gordon to San Diego, I think this is a huge fantasy sleeper. A lot of people comparing him to Jamal Charles from the Kansas City Chiefs, a guy you're pretty familiar with.
Yeah, definitely looking like he's going to be a good player in the NFL. Solid draft pick by the Chargers here, I'm thinking. Solid trade by them.
They traded up to get him.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
well, the trade was interesting because all they did was hop over Houston. I was like, I don't think Houston was going to draft a running back because they have Alfred Blue and they still have Aaron Foster. So, I mean Alfred Blue
is always hurt. So
yeah, well, I mean, Blue's a guy that they feel they have a future with. So
here's one pick that really surprised me. It was the number 20 pick, the Philadelphia Eagles. They were being talked about a ton. They picked up this wide receiver, Nelson Aguilar from USC.
Dude, he's a burner.
Yeah, but I'm a big fan of Brashad Perriman from UCF. I know a lot of people hate on him as well, but he's a guy I thought would have fit in really nicely under Chip Kelly's system there. But at the same time, Chip Kelly knows what he wants, and apparently he's going with this Nelson Aguilar guy.
Yeah.
You got any preference? I was a Perriman guy heading into the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I think both these guys, I think they could have been fine with either one of them, but Aguilar, the stuff that I've seen from him and what he did in the combine, this guy's a burner. He's fast. He runs really good crisp routes, and he's really smart. So he understands defenses. So this guy here, you throw him in the slot, man, he's going to tear it up.
He's Nigerian. He's the best wide receiver out of Central Florida, UCF. Since Mike Sims Walker.
Who's that? Oh, Perriman?
No. Nelson.
No, Aguilar.
Yeah, Perriman's from UCF.
Right.
And obviously Aguilar is
USC.
Actually from Nigeria.
Oh, well, USC. But
yeah,
yes.
He went to USC. But yeah, Mike Sims Walker obviously impressed the first season, but after that became a complete bust, and that's the one reason you got to worry about Brashad Perriman.
Now, how trippy is it that Shane Ray got drafted by the Denver Broncos?
Oh. Yeah, Shane Ray, Missouri. He was teammates with Michael Sam.
Well, not because of that, because he failed.
Oh, he got busted for weed.
Yeah, he failed the drug test at the combine. So now he's going to be like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to Colorado.
The Broncos are like, we don't give a fucks about that. Come on aboard. Yep. They actually traded up to select Shane Ray as well. That's a pretty good coincidence right there. So let's look at some of these other picks. Shaq Thompson, I don't know if you know about him. University of Washington, we got to give them a huge shout-out because they had so many players drafted through the first 2 rounds so far. This guy is a hybrid. He kind of reminds me of Brian Urlacher from the New Mexico Lobos days, where he plays safety and linebacker, just depending on the play.
He's got to get big. He's got to get much bigger, though.
Shaq Thompson, what do you think about him going to Carolina? It's an interesting fit. I think they're going to use him at safety, but I'm not sure.
No, he's not. He's not a safety.
They were using Roman Harper last year. They got to replace him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. To me, they're going to use him as like a nickelback. They're going to have him kind of be almost like a Polamalu type role that they call like a monster back, which he kind of just roams the field, but he's kind of like a nickelback. Because they got 2 stud linebackers, so they could easily do that. Go 2 linebackers and have him be the nickelback that roams. He could blitz, and he can cover over the middle of the field too. So
I think one guy that's probably going to mentor him a lot is Thomas Davis, a huge linebacker there in Carolina.
That's what's crazy about Carolina because Luke Kuechly is the number 1 linebacker in the NFL. But his guy right next to him is probably number 2. I mean, he's that good as well. It's crazy how good those 2 are and that they're on the same team.
Now they're bringing in Big Shaq Thompson, this monstrous guy, 6 foot, 228 pounds. So he's going to be a very big linebacker if they use him there. Once again, I'm looking for them to use him at safety because that's a position of need for him. We'll see what they do. He's a complete hybrid. He's probably not going to start day 1.
Yeah, no. We'll see. Like I said, I think what I've read is that their plan is to start him at the nickelback, and then maybe as he gets bigger, they'll throw him in there either to linebacker or even a safety.
So instead of drafting the guy you talked about from LSU, Leal Collins, the Buccaneers, when they finally got back on the board, they selected Donovan Smith, this big offensive tackle from Penn State. Yeah. You heard anything about him, Kyle? You think that's a good pick in the 2nd round?
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a big guy, country boy. So those are the kind of guys you look for on offensive line, man, and they're going to work their ass off. And apparently he's got really good work ethic. So I think that's what Lovie Smith kind of looks for when they're drafting players. And I think he's going to be starting probably right away because you have Dotson on one side and him on the other side.
So there you have it. I think it's been a pretty normal draft. Nothing really crazy going on. Unfortunately, I like it when that happens, and everything's been pretty basic. Mike, I know you're going to update us on Flocka.